Will he show? Will he make an appearance tonight in Rochester? Bray Wyatt has been the subject of a lot of news and plenty of speculations. Will he show tonight? We'll find out. Plus, a major name in Monday Night Raw is not medically cleared to compete. What's going on with that? And on Monday, the draft of Monday Night Raw, there's going to be some new policies that are going to be implemented for that episode. We're going to talk all about that and more in today's top story.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
What's up, everyone? Jose G here and Jeremy Bennett for the top story here on Sportskeeda Wrestling. Man, a lot of stories, a lot of news jumping out today as we get closer and closer to the WWE Draft. But some more news today ahead of AEW Dynamite. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining us. Make sure before we get started, you go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to the Sportskeeda YouTube channel. We got tons of content right now in preparation for the WWE Draft. Rick Ucchino just dropped his mock draft, so go ahead and check that out. Plus, we're going to be having live coverage this Friday night. Let me put that graphic up because it's too small.
Yeah.
I think I got rid of it. Oh, no, by mistake. But anyways, join us on Friday. We have a tremendous show during SmackDown Live. Jeremy, myself, Kevin Kellam, Rick Ucchino, we're all going to be here covering the draft, giving you top analysis. So make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you never, ever miss when we drop new content. Tons of cool stuff coming out this week.
We might be going live early on Friday too. We might do a little pre-show, a little draft, little preview for you, maybe.
That's right, man.
If you will.
Don't forget to engage with the show, guys. Show us the thumbs up, the love emojis, the laugh emojis, the angry emojis. It doesn't matter. Engage with the show. So make sure you support and show us love here at Sportskeeda Wrestling. So let's jump into our first story here. Bray Wyatt. We got a big update here from Bray Wyatt. There's been tons of speculation, Jeremy, from the internet wrestling community. Will he show up at AEW tonight? And to the surprise of many, that's not going to happen, right, Jeremy?
Probably not. Fightful Select dropped some information here early this morning saying that for those that have asked, Fightful has heard nothing thus far to indicate Bray Wyatt is appearing on tonight's show in Rochester. Of course, Rochester, the home of Brody Lee. It's going to be a very emotionally charged episode of Dynamite tonight with a huge 16-man tag team match, which is going to be managed. That team is going to be managed by Brody Lee's son, -1. When reaching out to some sources near Wyatt, they indicated while they aren't positive, as Bray is a pretty private person, they believe that he's under a standard 90-day non-compete clause, which is still going to carry through the show. So his 90 days are not up quite yet. So Fightful said they'd let you know if anything in the contrary would happen throughout the day. So far, no updates to this as well. So outside of the fact of the, just the fact that there's the big 16-man tag match tonight and some big news from the family of Brody Lee as well.
Yeah, we got Steven Chambers here. If we don't see him tonight, we'll maybe at Full Gear. I don't know. I've been the one of the opinion that I don't necessarily think Wyatt has to go to AEW or wrestle for that fact. Maybe he can do something else on the side projects, like work on horror movies. I've said this in the past. He's been fully participant when he created his mask for The Fiend, and he has an inclination to do and like a lot of horror-themed stuff. So I think that, that might be a viable option. I don't necessarily see him going into AEW, but that would be nice for the fans, though.
Yeah, and I think Eric Bischoff put on Twitter last night, he goes, he thinks that they should hold off that debut to next year anyways with that. But yeah, he was released right at the end of July. Hey, Kev, what's up? He was released at the end of July. So yeah, that 90 days is not until the end of October, which is right around Halloween. So
yep.
right
month
before,
away from it now.
Just before Full Gear. So I don't know. Obviously there was a Meltzer's report saying that he was going to be the last of the big ones to come over, but then that was before Kevin Owens' contract was up, and Sami Zayn's contract is up, and Johnny Gargano's contract is up. So who knows who's going where at this point, and if they're still on track for Bray to come over. I don't know. I would assume Bray was close with the Hubers and that family. Obviously, he's got friends over there as well. Maybe it is a good landing point for him. Depending on what he wants to do. Nobody knows what he wants to do, but he keeps teasing things. So apparently he does want to. Apparently he is preparing to come back to pro wrestling. We just don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting time. We're definitely going to keep a close eye on that story. Any developing news regarding Bray Wyatt, count on us here on SK Wrestling to give you all the continued updates. Fire off your questions, guys. Sound off in the comment section. Your comments will be live on screen. We'll be answering them later on in the show. But let's jump into our second story, because we got a major name on Raw, WWE Raw, who is not medically cleared. And this story broke a little bit earlier today, didn't it, Jeremy?
Yeah, Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer Radio has stated that Randy Orton was not backstage at Raw or Extreme Rules. He's been absent, and it is due to not being medically cleared to perform. There are no further details as to why, but that would explain why Riddle has been on an island on his own. Also probably explains why they didn't throw an impromptu tag team title match at Extreme Rules as well.
Yeah, man. It's okay. It's fine. Randy Orton's been on the show consistently for months on end. He's been kind of like that workhorse on Monday Night Raw that you can consistently count on. And, it's going to catch up to him. Now, why exactly? We don't know what kind of medical issue it is. We have no idea what it is. At least I don't. It could, I don't know if it's an injury or if it's something else that he needed to tend to. But he's not medically cleared, but this gives a chance for Riddle to shine. And he had a tremendous match against AJ Styles. And even though he had a loss in that match, it was still a very good match for Riddle. And he's just been on TV consistently. He's over with the crowd. He has really great backstage segments as well. So I think this was a good opportunity for Riddle, even though he's been riding solo these last few weeks, but really to shine as a singles competitor when it gets to that time.
Yeah, exactly. So, hopefully it is not going to keep them away for too long, and hopefully they don't have to relinquish the tag titles, because everybody loves RK Bro. It's been one of the best things on Monday Night Raw over the past several months. So hopefully it is not too much of a concern.
Now, we did have a story right before we went on air that broke, and it is about John Huber, Brody Lee. Tonight's AEW Dynamite will be in Rochester, which is where the Huber family is from, and also where the Brody Lee documentary premiered, which was this past yesterday, up in Rochester. So if you guys are up in that area, go ahead and check that documentary out. But there was a tweet about the new formation of the John Huber Foundation. Is that right, Jeremy?
Yeah, just literally minutes ago, this broke out just before the top of the hour that of both Amanda, John's widow, and brother, and John's brother, have started a nonprofit organization called the John Huber Legacy Foundation. They wanted to launch this the same day that All Elite Wrestling made their debut in Rochester, New York. Originally, they were supposed to debut in Rochester before the pandemic, where that would be where Brody Lee would have made his debut as the Exalted One. Of course, things kind of changed in regards to that. So, of course, they had to go and do the backup plan of debuting him at Daly's Place with no crowd. The foundation is going to focus on providing support to people in creative fields who have not taken the next step in their career because of family obligations. Amanda said in a quote that John had almost gave up his dream of wrestling because of his family. He got the call to move up to WWE while they were in the hospital with their first child. Couldn't think of a better way of honoring his commitment to family and his career than to help other people who are facing the same dilemma. Beginning next year, the foundation will select a group of creative individuals to support with resources, connections, and practical skills with direct funding. The cohort will meet throughout the year to learn from experts in areas including business planning, artist management, public relations, brand management, finances, and IP law. These skills and connections will help them provide for their families while help them pursue their dreams. Chris, who is John's brother, Chris Huber, says many artists and wrestlers are never taught how to manage their finances, investments, and assets in a way to make sure that their family is secure. Like our father, John had always wanted to make sure he was making decisions that were right, not only for his career, for his family. So the foundation announced its first application round will start in early 2022. And for more information, go to johnhuberlegacyfoundation.org. So some very cool stuff from the Huber family in advance of Dynamite tonight.
That's tremendous. I think that's great just because they're absolutely right. You know, in the past, especially in the independent side of wrestling, or even including on the WWE side, a lot of these guys that come up that make millions and millions of dollars, they're a hot item for about a year or two. Something happens, they get released, they get injured, and you see a lot of them that are just not doing well financially, right? So I think this is great to help out those folks that work in the business and the industry, to really help them set their right foot forward in the right way.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very cool to see this family help others out because John was that family man, and it was, a lot of people didn't realize it until he died, but just how much of a family man he was, and that's why his death affected so many people, especially in the wrestling community. Guys like Big E, guys like Big Red, Eric Rowan, is because they saw that side of him that not many people knew. So I think this is a great way to expand on Brody's legacy.
Man, he was loved by many, respected by everyone, and may his soul continue to rest in power and much strength and positive vibes to the Huber family. I think this is a great thing for the community.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're just tuning in, make sure you are subscribing to the YouTube Sportskeeda Wrestling channel. We just passed 21,000. We're well on our way to 22. Help us get to 30,000, guys. Subscribe, smash that notification bell so you never miss brand new content. We got our live review shows Monday nights with Vince Russo and Dr. Chris Featherstone on the Legion of Raw. We got a brand new show that's about to drop this week. I can't say what it is, but it is a very big one. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the YouTube channel. We got a lot of stuff coming in. Friday night's Dirty Dutch Mantel. Tonight we got the debrief. Myself, Enrico El Glorioso, will be joining me to break down last night's NXT and this week's AEW Dynamite. The stuff never stops, guys. So make sure you are following, subscribing, hitting that notification bell. So let's jump into our last story. The draft is right around the corner, guys. Friday, we're going to have live coverage. Monday, we're going to have live coverage. But on Monday, on Raw, there's going to be a new set of rules that people are going to have to follow. Jeremy, what's the scoop here?
Coming out here from people in the area. They have found out as the draft is going to take place on Monday Night Raw in Nashville, Tennessee this Monday, fans 12 and older are going to have to show proof of a COVID-19 vaccination or a negative test that was taken within 72 hours of the event. They announced the vaccine policy. This is basically coming out of the Bridgestone Arena, which is where Raw is going to be held. And so this new policy takes effect this Saturday, October 2nd. So, of course, that coincides with Monday Night Raw. Outside of that, that's not much else except. So
make sure you got your card.
Yeah, if you're going.
Show it, and you're going and mask up. That's all. All right, guys. Yep. We still live in a world where this thing is kind of controlling us, so we got to make do with what we got.
Yeah,
right?
And Friday in Baltimore, there's no vaccination policy, but they have a local mask mandate. So
you guys in Tennessee, make sure you show those vaccine cards. Let's jump into some of these questions here and some of these comments because we got a bunch of good stuff in here.
Fire away.
Let's talk here. Referring to the John Huber Legacy Foundation, Anthony Manzano, Jose, in general, I always assume that most of these pro wrestlers never completed high school or went to college. It's rare that you see guys that went through college. Well, there are a handful of guys that have come through the WWE, have been very well educated, have come through college. The Rock, he has a major in psychology. David Otunga, he is a Harvard lawyer. So there are plenty of WWE superstars that do have a higher learning of education, but there are also a very big majority that come through the trenches and really don't have that formal education. And therefore, a lot of them end up, in some of them in financial ruin because they don't take care of themselves.
Yeah, like guys like Braun Strowman and John Moxley, they're real smart. They're real smart with their money. They don't spend lavishly, and
Rollins is super smart. He has a couple cafes up in Iowa.
Yeah, he's got all sorts of stuff. He's got the Black and Brave. He's got his I think he's got a CrossFit gym as well. He's got all sorts of things going on.
All right, we got Kamar Bell saying, "I miss John so much, and he was such a great performer inside the ring." Absolutely. I think everybody can agree to that when it comes to John Huber. Let's see here. Molly Warwick, live draft on Friday. Yes, Molly. So not only WWE is going to be having their draft, but we're going to be covering in real time what's going on with the draft, give you our take, our analysis. It's going to be a great 2+ hours here on the Sportskeeda Wrestling YouTube channel. So make sure you guys set those notifications for Friday because it's going down.
And we get to do it again Monday too.
Yes, sir. Kamar Bell, do you think RK Bro or the Bloodline will be splitting up? Early prediction, Jeremy?
No.
None of them.
Nope. Neither.
I'm of them. I don't think the Bloodline, but I think they may split up RK Bro. I think they may do that. I think they may want to start pushing Riddle at some point.
Yeah, they can, but I don't think they need to split them up to do that either, though. But I mean, they're the current champions, so I don't know if they always have a policy where the current champions can't be split up. I cannot remember on the draft. Well, of course, they always change the rules too, so you never know.
Yeah, it just depends. Exactly, it depends on how they're feeling that year. Like I was just watching the mock draft for WWE's The Bump earlier today, and in their draft, tag teams or factions can be done in one pick. So it just depends. We'll see. We'll see how it goes down starting this Friday night. Tim Toscano, do you think Bray will use his old theme music if he shows up at AEW?
If they have the rights. This was not a WWE. This was actually a band that did the original song. So if WWE doesn't have the rights still to that song, Tony could snatch up the rights because this was not done in house. This was done by a band. I can't remember the name of the band off the top of my head. So it is possible, highly unlikely, but possible.
Clinton Hancock referring to Bray Wyatt. I'm calling it. I think he shows up tonight, Jeremy.
Well, if it maybe Clerical has screwed up on these no competes recently, so
that's true. That's true. Instead of a 90, what if it's a 60? They got the 9 upside down or something, right?
I don't. Yeah, you never know because apparently those people have already been fired. But
we got some combat sports news that came through yesterday. Anthony Manzano's asking us, what are your opinions of the greatest boxer in this generation, Manny Pacquiao, retiring yesterday? You know what? I think it's time. I know this is not WWE related, but it is combat sports and fight related. And I'd love to answer this because Manny Pacquiao is definitely one of the greatest fighters in our generation. The guy has been around for almost 30 years, and he was still at the top of his game, had one of the most reigns in, I think it was like 3 or 4 different divisions. And the guy's just in a class in his own. He has a solid legacy, nothing to be ashamed of. And now I think he wants to run to be president of the Philippines. So I think now he'll have time to do that.
Yeah, it's funny though. Those guys never stay retired. They never do. He'll be back for one more. He will.
Molly Warwick's asking us NXT call-ups. Yes, there will be NXT call-ups. Expect NXT to be heavily involved in the draft this year. We found out yesterday through a report that NXT will, there has been some NXT talent working the dark matches ahead of SmackDown, and there has been a lot of words in an effort to freshen up the roster. there will be some names, factions, key people moving up to the main roster. Raw and SmackDown.
Hit row. Hit row. There's going to be some people you haven't seen yet on NXT 2.0 that are going to probably be a shoe-in. Xia Li, Dakota Kai, I think, come to mind. Austin Theory is probably another one that will be on there. So if you haven't seen them on 2.0 yet, good chance they're going to be going to get drafted on Friday and Monday.
Yeah, man, it's this weekend's getting exciting. You know, it's always fun when we have the draft this time of year. So it's always great. Guys, as always, make sure you are subscribing to the YouTube Sportskeeda Wrestling channel. Make sure you smash that notification bell. Never ever miss when we drop new content. Make sure you follow me at Jose G Official on all of my socials, Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. I got Weekends of Wrestling this coming up Thursday, where we're going to do our own mock draft and kind of give us our prediction on what's going to go down this Friday. Then we got our live coverage here on the Sportskeeda Wrestling channel. Rick Ucchino, myself, Jeremy, Kevin Kellam. You're going to have an all-star panel breaking down in real time what's going to go down with the WWE Draft. That's going to be happening Friday night and on Monday night during Monday Night Raw. We're still going to have our post show with Dutch Mantel, SP3, breaking down the results of everything that went down during the draft. And then on Monday with Dr. Chris Featherstone and the one and only Vince Russo. So we got a busy weekend, Jeremy.
Yes, we do. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We do. All right, Jeremy, tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on the Twitter at JB Huskers. And you can also find my podcast, Lost in the Mid Card. We are going to go live again tonight. We had so much fun last week for episode 300. We're going to go live again tonight after Dynamite. I don't know if we're going to do live every week. It may be on special occasion, but we had so much fun. We're going to roll it over to episode 301 as well. So find us on the YouTube at Lost in the Mid Card and give us a subscribe there. We're also on podcast as well. Make sure you find the one that says new feed, as that's our current feed for podcast. That'll drop on Thursday afternoon sometime, and just search for Lost in the Mid Card on that all around.
As always, guys, show the support. Go ahead and follow Lost in the Mid Card. Subscribe to that podcast because it is quite entertaining. I already started catching you guys and listening to some of your episodes, so you got me hooked. We might have to have a combined show one of these nights, since we record the same night that you. Well, we're gonna go head to head with you guys tonight on the debrief. So, but yeah, we usually just record on Wednesdays and then put it out Thursdays. But we tried the live thing for the first time last week. We may have to have a combined little tag team show here one night. Yeah, man, let's do a collab. Let's do it, bro. All right, guys. So that is it for Jeremy Bennett. I'm Jose G. Remember, when you are watching wrestling, Jeremy, what's the most important thing to do? Enjoy wrestling. Yeah. See?